Hello, I'm Zanete and I am the designer behind Zanete Knits, and thank you for tuning in on this pattern deep dive for the Texo sweater, the one that I'm wearing. It's a pattern that's coming out tomorrow and it is a worsted weight all over cable sweater with some interesting twists. And today I will be going into the inspiration, the yarn, the gauge and needles, the construction and techniques used and sizing, and a little bit of possible modifications that you could make to make this sweater your own if you'd like. It's really hard to see it from this point, but I will try and slowly stand up to show it in its glory. So it has quite high side slits and a very deep plunging neck with a quite a sizable collar at the back, and this collar is probably one of its standout features. I haven't seen too many collars of this type myself for sweater patterns out there, and coupled with the very high side slits, it really makes a fairly unique specimen. So the inspiration comes from having been in Dublin and walking through the city and all its souvenir shops that are just brimming with the Aran sweaters, and it's a cable paradise. Everywhere you go you see cozy cabled sweaters, and that's where I got some yarn with the intention to make a version of a all over cabled sweater myself. So this is a Irish yarn, a Studio Donegal called Soft Donegal, and I think they have all the possible shades in the world, but this particular one is not sure of the name, but the number is 5507. So that's the yarn I used. It was bought in Dublin. I did not buy enough, so I had to order some extra skeins to finish the project, but they are widely available here in the UK and Ireland. The needle size that I used was 4.5, that is US 7 for the cables and the main fabric, and 4, that is US 6 for the cuffs, the hem and the sides of the collar. And the gauge is given in Stockinette, and it is 14 stitches and 24 rows in a 10 by 10 centimeter or 4 by 4 inch square, but it also states the width of each of the cables that you should get, because of course cables use up more stitches, so the gauge is always different, and I have listed the gauge for this cable and that cable. If you're swatching, it's probably worth making one of the cables. The pattern includes the cable charts separately as well as all together to show you how they are placed across the back and the fronts, and it has written as well as charted instructions. So if you prefer to work from a cable chart, you have that option. If you prefer from a textual description, you have that option as well. Before we get into the construction and the techniques used in this sweater, I'll just go through the sizes that are available. So it's designed to be worn with a lot of positive ease. The finished circumference around the bust for the smallest size is 112 centimeters, that is 45 inches, and it goes all the way up to 192 centimeters, that is 76 3/4 inches. If too oversized isn't your thing, you can of course size down. It's worked from the top down, so you can always adjust the length of the body and the sleeves. And I've already touched upon the construction. So yes, as I mentioned, it's worked from the top down, and we start by casting on the back stitches at the top, and we work it straight down to underarm, where we place stitches on holder and pick up stitches along the back cast on for each of the front shoulders. So we work those down to underarm as well, each one separately. And there's a bit of shaping here at the front to create the neckline, and then soon enough it just goes straight again. And once we get to the underarm, the fronts and the back are worked as one piece down to where the fronts are joined. But instead of working in the round, it's also the same place where the slits start. So you start working the front separately down to the hem, which is finished in 2x2 rib. And there's a little I-cord edge here for the slits. And once you're done with the front, you take the stitches from the back and work those down to hem. The back is slightly longer and that's purposeful, a feature of the design, but you can of course make it the same length if you choose to do so. Once we're done with the body, or well, what I did was I added the collar before I was even done with the body, because I was impatient and I wanted to see how it will look. So that's something that you can do as well. Just take a break from the body and add the collar first. First, we start with the main structure of the collar. That's this long bit here that goes all the way around. So we work that on the same size needles as the main fabric because it's kind of part of the main thing. So we work that as high as desired. You could probably go even longer here. There's many ways to wear this. You can wear it open like that, or you could cozy up close to neck and look like you got a high collar thing. So it's quite versatile. And once you reach your desired height for the collar, you add these edge bands, and they have another interesting detail here, and that's a sort of a ridge that we get by picking up stitches along the edge, working a little bit in stockinette stitch, and then joining the live stitches with the base of where we picked it up. We pick up a stitch from the base row and knit it together with the active stitches, the live stitches, and that's how we end up with this ridge. The pattern contains a link to a video where this technique is demonstrated. And once we've done the ridge, we continue in 2x2 ribbing on smaller needles and finish with a tubular bind off for 2x2 rib. Again, there are links to videos for this method, and we repeat that for the other side, and you get this collar. The only part that is actually seamed in this garment is the joining this edge band to the base of the neck opening. Well, both of them, one at the back and one at the front here. And there's a link to video on how I'm doing that as well. And then comes the sleeves. So again, you can see we have the same ridge detail around the sleeves as well. And then it's got the same cables that are used for the body running through the sleeves with decreases. So sleeves is the only thing that is worked in the round, but the cable instructions are provided for both working flat and in the round. So that shouldn't be an issue. As the sleeves are worked top down, you could stop whenever you feel like you've reached your desired length and add the cuff, or experiment with cuff length as well and make it the way you want it. Now, I would like to talk a little bit about the actual cables that are used in this pattern. There really isn't anything crazy. One of these is a fairly asymmetrical or asymmetrical because it sort of crosses various rows, and there's only really 4 types of cables used. The very, very classical 2x2 left-leaning and right-leaning cables, and 2x2x2 crossing over a center cables, and all 4 types have links to little short demos on how I do that. So this is one of the cables, and the other one is a twist on the classical honeycomb cable. You can see that it's not the usual because see how they're little like half moon shapes. The center one is worked at a slight offset. I just love the twist that it adds to this. And that's it. The whole sweater is made up of these two cables. You can probably see at the back how they're laid out. I hope you can see. And there's not much more to it. The pattern's coming out tomorrow, and if you're a newsletter subscriber, watch out for your exclusive discount code. If not, there's still time to subscribe by following the link in the description. I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next one.